Obviously not to this extent, and I think the ceiling that Alex Eala has is obviously that much higher. And I'm going to bring in a little boxing here because my dad wanted me to be a boxer, but I chose tennis. But Manny Pacquiao.
Good call.
Manny Pacquiao, we saw him when he, was at the top of his game, and alongside Roger Federer, he actually had more prize money.
Analysts are pulling no punches. They are speaking without reservation, without softening their language, without wrapping their opinions in cautious qualifiers or diplomatic hedges. They are being direct, forceful, and unanimous in their declaration. Alex Eala is the most prominent figure in women's tennis right now. Indian Wells hasn't even begun. The tournament draws haven't been released, and yet the entire conversation surrounding professional tennis is already circling one person. That person is Alex Eala. Current competitors, retired legends, voices from every corner of the sport, all of them are pointing toward her. All of them are saying the exact same thing. Alex Eala holds the biggest name in women's tennis at this moment, and the sport must acknowledge that reality in full. The experts are pushing their claims even further, positioning her above athletes who constructed Hall of Fame careers and etched their names permanently into tennis history. Ana Ivanovic, a former Grand Slam champion serving on an expert panel, delivered a statement that genuinely stunned everyone present. She declared that Alex Eala has eclipsed the level of fame and global recognition that Sonia Mirza accumulated across her entire professional journey. And she framed it with total reverence, emphasizing that this is not disrespect toward the icons who paved the way, but rather an honest assessment that the global attention and fan devotion Eala is generating is something the WTA has never witnessed at this magnitude and at this velocity. Then Ana Ivanovic elevated everything to an entirely new dimension, a former Grand Slam champion, a woman who claimed Roland Garros, who reached #1 in the world rankings, who understands what it means to carry the full weight of a sport's attention on her own shoulders. Ivanovic stepped forward and delivered a comparison that sent shockwaves through the tennis community. She likened Alex Eala's influence on the WTA to the seismic impact that Manny Pacquiao had on boxing during the absolute zenith of his career. Eala is not merely competing at the elite tier. She is pulling the entire spotlight of the sport directly onto herself and commanding the world's undivided attention. Ivanovic was unambiguous in her follow-up remarks. If Alex Eala maintains her current trajectory, if she sustains the level of play she has been demonstrating, nothing will stand in her path. The summit of women's tennis is not some far-off aspiration for Eala. It is the inevitable endpoint she is racing toward with every match she competes in and every court she walks onto.
So I think that if Eala, can keep doing well with her tennis, who knows? The sky's the limit on the court, off the court. I mean, she could be rolling in it, if you will.
What amplifies this narrative even further is that the experts are not solely focused on her achievements. They are discussing her character. They are highlighting the manner in which she conducts herself with humility and sincere respect for the sport and for everyone she encounters. Referencing her victory over Iga Swiatek, analysts have stressed that she does not allow the spotlight to distort her sense of self. She manages the attention the way the truly exceptional ones do, with poise, with quiet self-assurance, and with a humility that deepens people's trust in her and intensifies their desire to support her. That fusion of world-class tennis and genuine authenticity is uncommon. It is something the sport constantly seeks and rarely discovers, and Alex Eala possesses it effortlessly.
I remember last year when she beat Iga Swiatek, and she kind of did it with a lot of grace and humility, and it was really, for me, it was terrific to see her take that match and watch her play after that and watch her try to continue to progress, because I like her game. Obviously she wants to get better than where she is now.
Sam Querrey then entered the conversation, the former Grand Slam finalist, a man who competed at the pinnacle of professional tennis and who grasps the inner workings of this sport from lived experience. Querrey issued a direct and emphatic statement. He proclaimed that Alex Eala is the single biggest attraction in the WTA right now, not among the top draws, not in contention with the biggest period. He stated that she has achieved a level of pulling power in terms of attention and excitement that positions her above every other competitor on the tour in that specific and enormously consequential category. Every time she steps onto a court, something shifts in the atmosphere that cannot be engineered and cannot be duplicated. It is spontaneous, it is authentic, and it belongs entirely to her. Querrey pushed even further and voiced something genuinely remarkable. He implied that some of the top 10 players globally, competitors like Aryna Sabalenka, women who have poured their entire lives into reaching the peak of this sport, women who have actually captured the most prestigious titles available, might be observing the phenomenon surrounding Alex Eala and feeling a complicated mix of emotions about it. These are champions. These are women who have conquered every challenge professional tennis presents, and the tidal wave of attention and devotion trailing Eala wherever she appears is something they have registered and something they cannot simply overlook. Query said it because the current reality within professional tennis demands that level of frankness.
Biggest draw in women's tennis right now.
Yes.
Is she bigger than Sabalenka? Is she bigger than Coco?
Dude, it's crazy. She's having the same effect that Fonseca was having, like, on the men's side last year in Miami.
It's like Fonseca, but I think it's bigger than Fonseca.
It is, yeah, it is.
Like, the Doha, like, crowds were insane for her last week.
Yeah.
Correct.
She's definitely one to watch, obviously because she's so good, but just for the atmosphere. You want to tune into her matches just to see what it's like on the court.
There's got to be, like, a little jealousy maybe from some of the women. The girls coming in, she's not top 10, biggest.
Now the narrative deepens even more profoundly. Because this is no longer confined to analysts and commentators speaking into microphones, the players themselves are voicing their perspectives. Jessica Pegula, one of the most respected and seasoned competitors on the WTA Tour, came forward and recounted what she personally witnessed when she squared off against Alex Eala at the Miami Open. And what she recounted was something remarkable. Pegula revealed she entered that match and was genuinely shocked by what confronted her. She had not foreseen it. She had not mentally prepared herself for the atmosphere that had already been constructed inside that venue before the opening serve. The crowd was massive, the energy was palpable, intense, passionate, emotionally engaged in every single rally in a manner that Pegula admitted she had simply not predicted. She chose the word insane, and she delivered it with complete sincerity, as the ultimate expression of respect. She was not criticizing, she was in awe, she was participating in something genuinely unprecedented, and she recognized it. Pegula then offered an observation that carried significant weight. She noted that whether the location was Miami, the Australian Open, or Dubai, Alex Eala has reliably drawn the largest crowd support of any player across the entire tour. Not occasionally, reliably. Spanning different continents, different competitions, different phases of the calendar, people arrive for her in quantities that no other player is currently producing. People make travel plans specifically to watch her. People endure lines that extend far beyond what any typical match would create just for the opportunity to be inside the stadium during her performance. That kind of profound magnetic bond between a player and a worldwide fan community is something professional tennis has been attempting to build in emerging markets for years. And here is Alex Eala delivering it without any orchestrated promotional effort, purely through the strength of her skill, her character, and the resonance of her journey.
Week after week, as she, has done well and established herself as a really good player on tour, they all come out to support her. And so I think we saw that in Australia when it was kind of overcrowded. They put her on too small of a court. We saw it here. You can hear it from the hotel. You can hear the crowd roaring, especially at night. So it's incredible.
The Australian Open revealed to the entire world just how genuine this phenomenon is. The scenes outside the stadium during her matches were unlike anything that tournament had witnessed in recent memory. Fans gathering outside in enormous numbers, lines extending seemingly without end, filled with people clinging to hope that somehow they would secure entry. Many of them never passed through the gates. They had invested real money and real time traveling to Melbourne, and they wound up standing outside, listening to a crowd they could not access, hearing the eruption of points they could not observe, and they remained anyway, because simply being in proximity still held value. That is the depth of what Alex Eala evokes in people. That is how profound this connection runs. And then Novak Djokovic added his endorsement to everything that had already been articulated. The greatest tennis player in the history of the sport. A man holding more Grand Slam titles than anyone who has ever competed. A man who has navigated professional tennis at every conceivable level for over 20 years. Djokovic stepped forward and proclaimed Alex Eala the greatest tennis player the Philippines has ever produced, and stated without any reservation that she deserves every ounce of respect and acknowledgement this sport can provide. He also addressed directly the manner in which her scheduling and court placements have been handled at various tournaments, making absolutely clear that in his assessment the treatment has not consistently reflected her actual stature and her actual drawing capability. When Djokovic voices something like that, the entire tennis community pauses and pays attention. This is the greatest of all time, standing up and asserting that Alex Eala deserves superior treatment and that the sport owes it to her and to her millions of supporters to honor her appropriately.
Things like that happen. I mean, you could argue that it was, maybe a poor schedule and maybe they could schedule him on a bigger court. Yes, but again, she's so young and she's just coming through. Alex Eala, that's been a talk, and which is understandable. There's some players coming from respective countries. Like she's coming from Philippines, which is now a big deal. You know, she's been the biggest ever, tennis player from that country, which is a big country, and there's a big interest.
Analysts, former Grand Slam champions, active tour competitors, and the greatest player to ever hold a racket are all in agreement. Alex Eala is the emerging superstar of the WTA world. She is the most discussed name entering Indian Wells. She is the one creating anticipation before a single ball has been struck, and when she steps onto that court, every observer in the tennis universe is going to be fixed on her, because that is simply what Alex Eala does. She commands the whole world's attention. Now I want to hear your perspective. Do you believe Alex Eala genuinely is the most prominent player in the WTA at this moment, or is the excitement outpacing the accomplishments? When you hear a legend like Ana Ivanovic draw a parallel between her influence and Manny Pacquiao, does that strike you as accurate, or does it seem like an exaggeration? And what about Jessica Pegula's account from the Miami Open? Have you ever experienced that caliber of crowd intensity for an emerging player previously? Share your perspective in the comments below. Is Alex Eala the genuine article, or is this a moment we need to watch her maintain over time before we designate her the face of women's tennis?